Hi guys, welcome to Lorraine Lopez Loves. This week we have Aivy Cordova, stand-up comedian. She's from the Bay Area. I'm so excited to have you here. She's a super awesome chick.
Thank you so much. Good to have you. Or good to have you. Good to be sitting across from you. Like, it's so weird because I listen to your podcast, like, on the way to work, on the train and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And that's super fun. It's super fun to actually be here live, like, with this, like, padded-ass room. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, new studio. It's pretty big. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we met. We did a stand-up show together.
That was, We Own the Laughs. I think we did that at Haha Comedy Club.
Mm-hmm.
That was super fun. Like, kind of a light audience, but I think what I liked about it was, dude, like, people, the photographs that we took afterwards, we looked at them, and I think the general consensus was that we looked like a college diversity catalog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it was just
That's a picture maybe I'll use because I feel like we did like we have like a weird pic. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I remember one because I think you, me, and Vanessa Valenzuela were the only women on that show, and we had one picture. I remember the only thing I remember about it is that I was up against the wall looking at the camera, and then there's you on it's like some weird Charlie's Angels thing. And then on my right side, I see Vanessa, and the way she's looking at my ass, like I don't even think I've ever seen a guy look at my ass like that. It was just
wow. Well, I'll have to pull that picture up and post it.
Our first picture together. It'd be fun. So how did you actually how did you get onto that show? Like, have you worked with Tyson before, who's the producer of We Own the Laughs?
I have. I believe I'd worked with him a couple, maybe 2 shows before that, and I do have a show in May with him.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, he's a great producer.
I love that guy.
Great guy. Yeah.
Are you also are you originally from LA?
I am.
Dude, that's awesome.
Like you're interviewing me. I'm like, yeah. But you're from Hayworth?
I'm from Hayward, California. So that's it's a suburb of I don't want to say the South Bay really, because it's like in between. It's not quite all the way near Oakland. It's nowhere near San Francisco. It's about 40 minutes away. When I was early in my comedy career, nobody knew where Hayward was. So I would tell people that it was 5 exits away from Oakland so I could have street cred. And, but yeah, Hayward is a sleepy little suburb. That's where I grew up. I was actually born in Manila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you go visit?
I have not been back since like 2006. The last time we went back, it was like a family reunion of sorts, and then we went to Thailand like literally a week after the tsunami. So that was a very busy month, and I was hoping that the next time I visited Manila was going to be a little bit of a slower pace. Like, that's actually where my son and I we were supposed to have a layover in Manila for about a day, because we had made plans to go to Thailand for a spring break. But, with the coronavirus and air travel, I feel like it's just in our best interest to stay home. But I'm kind of disappointed because this month would have been my first time back in Manila since 2006.
Wow. Are you going? Did you already buy your ticket?
Yeah, we bought the tickets. Like, we had a place to stay because we've got family like in both the Philippines and in Thailand. But it was it's just more like of a pain having to, reschedule, recancel, try to get reschedule, get our money back, and all that kind of headache and stuff like that. So that sucked.
Are you gonna go? Are you gonna maybe try to book it for like May,
maybe
April?
summer, maybe in the summer.
Get a good deal while you can.
Gonna see because I've got shows I think through the middle of June. And so I don't want anything to come up that's going to prevent me from, just having a good week in Asia with my kid. So I'm probably just going to schedule it way the hell out there, like maybe July, August. It's not going to be great for my hair, but, as long as he has fun, fuck humidity. It'll be fun.
I went to Thailand in November. And I got like a ticket for $600 round trip, which now it's probably $200. Right?
Yeah, it's probably $50, plus a free mask.
Oh my gosh.
So this is good.
Oh yeah. No, I know. And what's so weird is I just got this at Whole Foods the other night.
Amazing.
Everything's out as the grocery stores with coronavirus. But for some reason this was on sale. This was dropped. This is normally I think $14.99 and it dropped to like $8.99.
So you got like 12 boxes, right? Just
I only got one because
Oh,
I
no.
keep thinking like you don't need to go crazy on alcohol, but now
Hey.
that everything might shut down, restaurants and bars. I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's and I'm gonna stock up on wine.
amazing.
Might as well have a good time while we're quarantined.
Yeah, of course.
So do you live in Hayworth now?
Hayward with a D.
Hayward, sorry.
No, it's all good. Hayworth. Like I was like Rita Hayworth.
I feel
She
like-
fine. No, yeah, I do. I actually moved back recently. I used to live in another suburb called Fremont, and what the hell? I'll just admit this on the air. Like I lived in Fremont for 4 years. I had my own place. This is after my divorce, and I lived there for about 4 years. And then my parents, my dad decided to take a job in Manila. So he was like, we need someone to take care of the house. We're not going to be there, right? Because they're only going to come back like every 4 to 5 months. And I was like, let's see, mom and dad's old house or paying $2,400 a month by myself for this rent. You know
Wow.
what? I was like, peace out, Fremont. So I moved all my stuff into my parents' old house, which is not really the house I grew up. They bought that house when I was probably in high school. And then I like left almost immediately, like after college. So most of my memories of that house are certain like rooms I used to sneak out of and windows and things like that. And it's weird, like reconciling, my memories of that house with who I am as an adult, especially in the backyard, like doing work and thinking to myself, like, I don't know how I thought mom and dad were never going to hear when I used to have dudes over and they'd hop the fence. Like it's just the noisiest thing in the world. And I don't know how I didn't think my parents could have heard that. But I think
So you're there now.
I'm there now.
Okay, and how far is that from Hayward?
Hayward. So like no, that like I'm talking about the Hayward house. Like
Okay.
that Hayward and Fremont are about I want to say about maybe 10-15 minutes apart with no traffic. They're more suburban than anything. I mean, there's comedy stuff that happens there too, but they're generally like rowdy bar shows, which is why I usually have to go to like San Francisco or LA or San Jose for, big comedy. But like the rowdy bar shows are also pretty fun in their own way. Like the most recent one that I did in Hayward was maybe 10 minutes from where I live, and my parents are currently visiting, so I literally had my dad drop me off because I wanted to get fucked up with my friends. I said, like I just DUI, have dad drop me off. Like, nah, just so my dad dropped me off, and then he waited, and I was just like, bye, I'm 38 years old, bye. Like, you can go. Because when he dropped me off, like, there were a lot of comedians waiting outside because the house, like the bar that the show was in was super packed already. And so there were just a bunch of dudes waiting outside. Some of them were smoking cigarettes and smoking other things. My dad was just like, is this where you want me to drop you off? I said, this is comedy. Like,
So he waited the whole time?
he
at the end?
he waited until I waved the third time, and then
Oh.
finally he just left.
Aw,
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes from their house.
Nice.
So how did you get into comedy?
I feel like I've always was kind of in it, not stand up specifically, but always loved comedy. And
Awesome.
I live in West Hollywood. Every block there's a open mic.
Oh, for sure. You're like in the middle of it.
So yeah, I just went there. My friend took me, and I was like, yeah, I'll have a glass of wine and say a story. And then I was like, this feels good. How about you? What got you into it?
So I actually started as a theater kid, and this is like years ago. So we're talking like 2005, 2006, and I was doing sketch comedy in San Francisco, and I wasn't that great at it, but I enjoyed it. Like I actually started out wanting to be a writer, wanting to be a script writer, which I'll get to in a second. But like when I did that, when I did the sketch comedy stuff, there was actually a workshop that one of the guys in that theater community decided to hold, and it was a workshop on how to do stand-up comedy, because I think he wanted to put it out there. He was like, if you guys want to be on stage or perform, but you're not really into theater, or I think that was his polite way of saying some of you guys are really shitty at acting, so maybe you should try something else. So he did that workshop for us, and then immediately I was hooked. Like, there was a group picture that was taken right after the workshop finished, because when you do a comedy workshop, then you have like a show, which is a performance, right? In that picture, I'm looking at it, and there are only probably 3 people in that picture, and it's like 14 people that are still doing comedy now.
Wow.
Yeah,
How long
yeah.
ago was that?
This is 2000 probably 2006, definitely 2006.
Wow.
It was after college, and the person that ran the workshop was a comedian named Kevin Camilla, who recently did. I want to say he did.
Yes, I know him.
Yeah, you know. So you know
He's
Kevin.
Filipino.
Yeah. Kevin was actually the one that put together that workshop. And so, like, whenever
Wow.
people talk to me about comedy, I'm just like, that's the guy who's the reason I'm in comedy now. And yeah, I think he actually goes on tour now with Ali Wong when she's on tour. Yeah, which is, remember the script writing that I just alluded to?
Yes.
I wanted to be a writer. I didn't want, like, I didn't originally, like, I went into theater wanting to write. I had no desire to perform, to be on stage, any of that, right? But I was crappy at writing. Ali was in the same writing class, so her script won, which is by winning.
Ali Wong?
Yeah. So she was in that script writing class, and I didn't really know her, because a lot of people ask, because I'm from the Bay Area and I started around the same time. But when I started actually getting serious about like performance art, like she was already like on her way to do comedy, because we had this workshop. We were learning how to write scripts for plays. And after the workshop, you know, the rest of us were trying to, you know, get high, hook up with each other, whatever. She was not having any of that. She was friendly, but like after the workshop, she would just pack up get her backpack, get her shit, get her book, and then go hit up every open mic in San Francisco. Wow. So you kind of already had an idea of what her work ethic was going to be like. So it's not a surprise that she's made it. But her script was the one that was actually chosen by our theater to for them to make into a play, and it was a musical. It was a musical called Lucy's Kitchen and Alex's Garage. And my best friend was in the play that she wrote. And it was about a girl with eczema that falls in love with a guy that has psoriasis. And it was a fucking musical. Wow. Yeah, I wish I remembered what some of the songs were like, but I think towards the end of the play, there's actually sort of like almost like a Grease group ensemble dance. Like it was ridiculous. So that's how I got started, was just being in that environment. And then after segueing out of theater, I decided to pursue stand-up a little bit more seriously. And then I got pregnant. So but it wasn't like one of those baby cobra situations. I knew that I was going to have to take a step back eventually. And not long after I had my son, I got an opportunity to do a show. And this is like in 2009. So my son was born in 2008. I had a chance to do a show at San Francisco State University. And I still don't remember to this day who actually put me on the show, because at that point I hadn't performed stand-up in almost a year. Yeah. You know, and I was cocky about it too. I was just like, maybe I could use my own material and just like riff. It shouldn't be that hard. Like I was overconfident. And then I proceeded at this show at San Francisco State. It was about Asian American performers. Ali Wong was the headliner. So this is how long ago this was. Wow. I proceeded to completely eat shit. Like I ate 12 dicks on that stage. Like it was not even in a good way. Like it was terrible. Like it was just the worst. Like I think in retrospect I'm being a little hard on myself, because some people did laugh, but like I guess by my standards now, I'm like, I was not prepared. I should not have gone to that stage. I shouldn't have taken the gig. And so after that, I was like, all right, well, that's a sign. I should just quit. I'm just going to focus on being a mom, just get my shit together, find something else to do with my life. And then after several years later, I was still sort of doing sketch comedy, but my heart wasn't in it the same. And then I noticed that in between quick changes, they would have me perform stand-up so that they would have a chance to actually change their clothes in between scenes. And this is probably like 2015-ish. The bug was coming back, like I was thinking, God, I miss this. Like not theater, but I legit missed stand-up. But I knew I was going to have to start over, because everybody from my old generation that was still there, that was still doing comedy, weren't exactly people that I could hit up and be like, hey, remember me? It's been a million years. So I just knew I was going to have to start over and do the work. But that's what I did. So starting 2016, 2017, I would do more mics. I even went down to LA I did a free master class at the Groundlings, and it wasn't affiliated with the school. It just happened to be where the class was. And it was, the reason it was free was it was like a preview of a paid comedy workshop, which I knew I wasn't going to be able to take anyway because I wasn't local. But for me, the reason I went was to network. And so I kept in touch with a lot of people that I met at that workshop. And they were the first people that helped me get my first shows here in LA when I was first coming back to comedy. So
That's great.
yeah, so that's long-winded, but that's how I got started.
And how is it going now? How was it like the second time around? Like, how was the vibe different, or was it harder?
Actually, I think it's easier because I think if I had kept going at the rate that I was going and the lifestyle that I had at the time, like right before I had my kid, I was a little reckless. I was probably 25, 26. So really, really, how old are you?
My 30s.
30s, yeah. Like you look really young. I wasn't sure if you were like in your mid 20s or something, but yeah, I was like 25, 26, and I used to be the kind of comic that would get fucked up on stage. Like I was, hard drinking, and it was still funny, but it just there wasn't as much structure to it, as people do comedy now. So for me, the second time around, I knew, one, I was going to take it more seriously. I was going to conduct myself like I do when I'm at my corporate job. So no drinking, no smoking, no hanging out and talking shit. Like I'm there to do my job, maybe make some friends, but ultimately it's about, getting the stage time, being professional, showing that I'm, worth working with, and two, easy to work with. Like it's just, I don't even think I'm the fun, like even in San Francisco, by San Francisco standards, I don't even think I'm in anyone's top 10, but I don't think anyone's also going to be able to say that I've never been professional, that I've been a pain in the ass or anything like that. So I've got that going for me.
That's good. I've seen your comedy. You're hilarious.
Yes. Shucks. Thank you.
What do you like? What would you say is most of your inspiration or for your comedy? Like, what do you talk most about, or what do you like to talk about right now?
Let's see. Right, and most of my comedy now is about my son because he's 12. He's going through puberty, so he's at a stage where just existing gives me comedy. Yeah. And he's also very like he's funny. Like I don't even think he tries to be funny, like knowing that what his mom does for a living, but he's funny in his own way. And just he's kind of a little like a mini me, but I think he's more self-aware than I was at that age because dude, I had like a unibrow. Like it was just ridiculous. Like I had no sense. Like he's very, he combs his hair. He, he has like bro time, and he goes in the next room when he wants to take a call from like a girl. Like, oh wow, starting.
How old is he now?
He's 12. And but we all like watch each other's, like we all supervise each other's kids. So it's like if he's like hanging out with like a girl, it's always like in a group of people. I don't think he's thinking about dating, but like I think he's just like I see a girl. Like there's like always like the one or two girls that hang out with their group of bros. I'm just like I remember this age.
Does he talk to you about girls and stuff, or? He
told me once because I asked him. I was just like, are you interested? Like because I asked him like, do you like going to dances? Like is there like boys or girls that you want to dance with? And he's like, girls, mom. And I said, okay, because I want to keep an open mind, knowing we're in 2020. And he's just like, you never know, right? And he's just like, oh, there's one girl that we hang out with, but she's kind of one of the bros. And I'm like, that, by movie standards, that means she's gonna grow up to be hot. So maybe stay friends with her, see what happens. And when you get to college, or when you're 30, because that's how old he's gonna be when he starts dating.
How about you? Are you dating, or what's your situation like right now?
Yeah. No, my last relationship ended in August actually, and that was almost that was like so. Yeah, it's been almost a year. And I think dated for about 7 or 8 months, which was tough because it was like long distance. Like he was down here and I was up there, and it was just one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna move, you're not gonna move. Our lifestyles, even though we were both comics, our lifestyles were both. He was my friend before we started dating, so I knew that there were things about our lifestyles that were dissimilar enough that I don't think living together would have ever been an option. Okay. So it sucked because that was a good relationship, but what it did for me specifically was it kind of raised the bar kind of high. Like I was thinking about that relationship because I'd been married for a few years prior to that, and that relationship ending in August was harder on me than when my marriage ended.
Whoa.
Right? And it was,
damn.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like, when my marriage, by the time my marriage ended, I was so checked out that I'm pretty sure that the last time when he left my place for the last time, I think at that point I had already downloaded Tinder, and I was so like emotionally and mentally checked out of my marriage. So really it had gone like maybe a few years longer than it should have. This last relationship though was the first person I think that I got like seriously involved with after, and my marriage essentially ended around like 2016. So this is the first time that I
like a big relationship since
it was major. It was major for me because like for me, like dating, hookups and things of that nature have never been particularly difficult, especially since it's weird for me to say this considering I've been married, but I never really thought of myself as a long-term, like a relationship person. Some people, they're just completely like always in relationships, like they're in some sort of partnerships, they'd never learned how to be single. I really, really, really like being single. Like, when I'm not freaking out about what's gonna, happen to me or who's gonna, wipe my ass when I'm 80, I'm generally pretty excited about, the idea of like liking my space, which is also why I think that's also why my long distance relationship worked out, was because like we weren't in each other's space all the time. I could just go like live my life and, be a boring 37-year-old and then once a month fly down here and, go see this guy. But he, like I said, he was my friend before we got together. And so for me, like when that ended, I was just like, I knew I was going to have to deal with it a little differently because it affected me a lot differently in ways that I didn't expect to. Like when that happened, I quit all my shows for August. I refused all offers of people wanting me to go out with them and get fucked up. You need a girls' night out. Like, no, I really don't. Yeah. I just want to be here, home with my pizza, and like think about like, where things went wrong and just how to pick myself up going forward. And we're actually still friends.
That's good.
And but yeah, the way that I dealt with that, I knew I'd become like more emotionally invested than I think I'd have in any of my other adult relationships. And when I also really thought about it, I was like, wow, this is the one person I've dated that's never once said anything disrespectful or like messed up or cheated or any of that kind of stuff. So like I think my standards for relationships now are just way the fuck up there.
That's good.
But it's also enough for me to know that it's not going to happen anytime soon. Like I think the best part of that was how I think organically it happened, because I feel like the best relationships and just situations in general sort of happen when you're not looking for them. It's just
definitely
when it unfolds in a certain way, and that's awesome. And so for me, it's like now when I think about relationships, I feel like I don't want to force it. People are just like, you ready to get back out there? I was like, I've been out there, and it's just, I feel like if it happens, if I ever feel that way about somebody again, I feel like I'll know. But, it hasn't happened so far, and I'm totally cool with that. Like, I actually, the other thing, the reason I laughed so hard was because people were expecting me, like a lot of my comedy peers, like I rarely talk about my personal life, let alone like, refer to this person by name. But a lot of people were just like, hey, I know you've gone through something recently, and, I think comedy would be a great place to just talk about that. I was like, I really don't. Because for me, it's like a lot of my comedy is either about my son or, sex and things like that. And it's just like, I don't feel like this is something I can reduce to a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's certain things and that's how I...
Like, and it's also so new and precious to you that it's,
Girl. Like, it's... like, I knew that I wasn't... Like, if we broke out, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to... to really talk about this in stand-up because, I'm like, what can I say about him that's terrible? It's like, I really can't say anything. Whereas... people that I date or hook up with, in comparison, that's a whole other ballpark.
No, most of the stuff, people that I talk about, it's like, they're not anyone that I have anything to do with or that were meant anything, or I have, like, there was one time though I had like a guy that I dated for a long time off and on. Yeah. And he's like the one person that really kind of fucked me over. Really. I've also had a boyfriend that had a double life, but this one was more like painful to me because it made me feel like he didn't care about me as a person. So I do have a short joke, but it's nothing towards him, and you can't really tell it's about him. It's just more about me. Yeah. But I remember I did the joke, and when I did it, it helped me so much to actually laugh about it because I couldn't do the joke without crying. Oh. And dude. I know. And I was with my family when I wrote the joke because he basically like told me that it was basically over. Fuck. And it was over forever because we already had gotten back together many times. Yeah. And going home because it was like my brother's birthday, and
Mhm.
I went there and I just so I wrote the joke, and then I was crying and crying and crying and laughing, and my parents were like, "Will you just stop? This is so disgusting. Like, why are you doing this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Yeah, but it's basically. But are you like, how was it dating a comedian as a comedian? That's interesting.
I was really hesitant, like pretty much not about him, but like in general, I was hesitant to date any comics because I never dated any comics when I first started, but like when I came back to comedy, I noticed that a lot of the people around me, they're young people, so they were just dating each other, and then when those relationships would end, they would inevitably talk shit about each other in their sets, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, I know who this person's talking about. Like I didn't want to put myself in that position, so I was like, I'm never dating a comic. Like that's it. That's maybe I'll fuck one, but like dating them, I was like, absolutely not. And then when I got into my relationship, I was just like, now what? Like I remember when we were on a show together, and then like it was like the first time we kissed or whatever, and then I remember I was taking a bus back to the Bay Area instead of a plane for whatever reason, and I took that long of a bus ride so I could think about what I'd done, and I could think about like how my life was going to change in certain ways. Like I remember thinking I knew that it was going to be serious, or that it had potential to be serious, because I spent that entire bus ride texting all my fuck buddies like, hey, I'm going to be out of commission for a while. This is,
Really?
Yeah. Like I had, because prior to him, like not like right before him, but like prior to like me not being in any kind of relationship, I had what is known as a rotation. Yeah. I mean, if I want to be really crude, I guess I could refer to it as a hotation, but which is a terrible thing to say about people. But I had like maybe a couple people that I knew I could call if I needed to not be alone. And I remember texting everybody like, hey, it's gonna be a few more months. I'm probably not going to see anybody for a while. Like, I think...
I like that you're telling them. You're like, no, this isn't going to happen. You're out of commission for writing. That's cool.
Right. I feel like this just happened this weekend. It might get serious. I want to see where it goes. So, maybe I'll hit you up I'll hit you up if he cheats on me. And, that didn't happen either. But, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, dating a comic.
Dating a comic. So what was that like? We were definitely in different places as far as our comedic not abilities, because it's not like he's not funny, but I think we both went into this knowing that I was probably a stronger comic. But to be fair, he also had more hosting and producing experience, because that's how I met him. He was the producing partner of a guy that I knew I had become friends with, and so like I knew he had that experience, as well as like hosting like mics and shows, which are both are things I've never done. I've never hosted a mic. I've only recently started hosting shows, which has been awesome, because I've never felt like hosting was my strong point, but he was like fantastic at it. So we appreciated that we were both good at different things, but and we also went on to do a few shows together, but it was just also our comedic styles were just so different. It's not like we could write jokes and like bounce them off of each other and things like that. Like our because he was one of those people that actually writes his jokes, whereas I find situations that actually do happen to me, and I find a way to make them funny. Yeah. So I think my thing is also segueing off of storytelling versus what he does is more, I think, I want to say, more just like legit joke writing. I would see him get his notes and stuff like that before his sets, and change things here and there, and make a couple of rookie mistakes. But then again, he was also like only 3 years in, so I'm like, this is something he's gonna have to learn himself.
I do feel like when you're dating a comic, the best part about it is you kind of understand why you do what you do and why it's so important. And like, because a lot of people are like, it's hard because you're out trying to get up every night, and that lifestyle, late nights. So a lot of people don't understand that. I feel like since I've done stand-up, I have been single. I have a boyfriend now, but and it was so nice to have that. And I had dated some comics, but that was like the nice thing is like we have the same schedule, and and we could talk about, but it's different, because even now my boyfriend isn't a comedian,
That was my next question.
And I do feel like, and he's not a big like LA he loves LA, but he does not like the entertainment business. He just is not about it.
Yeah.
And the whole scene. And especially when I tell him, he's like, I don't like the comedy scene. I'm like, okay, it's crazy. But but sometimes I wonder if he thinks like, do you think I'm a narcissist? Like I have to go up, like there's something about the idea that we have to go on stage and get people to laugh and get them to like you.
Yeah.
And I think for someone that doesn't know that, like they don't have that, like that's why we do it.
Right.
But it's like he probably thinks, like sometimes I'm like that, you know, when he categorizes stand-ups, he's like, oh, it's just, you know, people just need attention. I'm like, it's not just about that. It's about like making people laugh and making people happy, and also taking your pain and making it to happiness, and like
absolutely,
you know, connecting with people. But that's my kind of struggle is, you know, I don't know. We think different things are important, and to me, this is, you know. But he's so supportive.
Oh, it's good.
So supportive, but it is different for him because I think this is his last girlfriend was like a scientist.
Oh shit. That. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely two different lifestyles. You know, prior to my relationship, I really didn't think I could date a comic, but I feel like now that I have a specific type of schedule, like where, you know, I go to work during the day and I do stand up like almost like prior to this coronavirus shit, like I was getting up like probably, you know, at least four nights a week, which is maybe not much for a lot of people, but like when you've got a kid and a full-time like corporate gig, like that's
pretty good.
Quite a lot. And so I feel like the only person I would be able to be with would be either somebody that understands that lifestyle, that knows that we're not going to see each other a lot, and also 3 isn't going to freak out, because 90% of the shows I'm on, I'm the only woman. Like so many, like you've been in situations like that, right? I
mean, even it's weird to even say, but yeah, even most of the shows right now, I'm usually the one woman.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just paying attention.
Okay. I was like, yeah. So most of the time that
you've got like 25 more minutes.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
I told the other guys that we're a little behind, so it's okay.
Oh,
awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, like they would have to understand that, because, and I think that's also why having a long distance relationship probably as an adult appeals to me in ways that it didn't before, like when I was younger. Like I didn't know if I could do that, but I'm just like, now I can, because one, you know, sometimes my regular day job sends me to LA. Also, it's not particularly expensive or impossible to go that back, as like having to see somebody, as opposed to like, I know for a fact that I could not be with somebody that would be insecure about the fact that I am literally surrounded by dudes. Like I don't want to have to explain my relationship to somebody. I don't want to have to explain who somebody is. You know, I feel like for me that would be the deal breaker. So I'm prepared to be indefinite. I'm prepared to be single for a long time.
Yeah. No. I mean, I hope this relationship lasts forever. But if it doesn't, I will completely happily be single.
Has it been a long time? Have you been in your relationship for a while?
It's been 6 months.
Oh shit.
Actually, 7 months.
Nice. You're looking for your anniversary.
7 months and 4 days.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, but we did get in a fight recently, and he was like, because I do think like I'm so cool and laid back, but sometimes I'm just so crazy and I need so much attention. So I think that's where sometimes he's like, you know, you need so much attention. It is like the stand-up thing. Like I need but I'm not even that type of person, really.
Yeah,
like
you seem super chill.
I am chill.
Yeah.
But I am I need very needy, but I think it is this whole like quarantine coronavirus time. I need some attention from him.
Right.
But he did mention something where he was like, he's just met, like, we're, you know, in the mix of like, do we break up? And I did have that moment where, you know, you do have your old rotation of men that you had.
Yep.
And, you know, before, like, I liked my lifestyle and I did like to know, and I'd be like, okay, I do have all these people that I could call.
Yeah.
And I, like, went through them in my mind. This is terrible because it was just a couple days ago. And I was like, which I would be so excited about. I'd be like, ooh, yes. And,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can't. None of these people, I could never, in my mind, I'm just so done that I'm like, I can't, and we need to work this out. We need to work this out because I feel like I'm done.
With that part of your life, right? Yeah, like for me, like after my breakup last August. It's weird because I, like, 2 months before I was talking about it with another friend. They're just like, well, what's gonna happen? What are you gonna do? Like, if you guys break up, because you can't move, he's not gonna move. So what's gonna happen? Are you gonna go back to the rotation? And I thought about it, and I'm just like, that's okay. I was like, first of all, and which is obviously somebody that knows me well to be able to ask that question, because I don't even think a lot of people until today knew I had a rotation. They're just like, oh, Ivy, that's a mom, and she goes home and spoons her cat.
But
and,
I also feel like this is something that's so amazing as a woman to be able to do, is because we're not supposed to do that.
No, we're supposed to want intimacy and, like, children and, like, houses and shit like that. I guess for me, I've always come from I guess my mindset is I already have all those things. Like, I got a family, I can take care of myself. I got a place to live. It's just a matter of, like, what are you going to bring to my life? Not necessarily what are you bringing to the table. Like, I don't need your money. Like, I'm good. But, like, and I think this is also what's slowing me down from wanting to, like, look for a relationship, because we're also conditioned to, I guess women, we're supposed to want certain things and certain lifestyles. And I finally just had to be honest with myself. You know what? I really don't. Like, maybe that'll happen in my, in, like, the later stages of my life. And I was telling somebody recently, maybe I'll find the love of my life. I'll be one of those people that finds the real love of her life when she's, like, 60. And then my friend was just like, well, at the rate you're going, he's probably going to be born now. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's just something I've had to address in comedy is the fact that as I get older, it seems like the people that I've been dating or that have been attracted to me, that I've been attracted to them back, are younger. Like, it's just, I did not choose a cougar life.
It's weird because I do feel that, like, for whatever reason, like, you have, like, older guys want to date, like, 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like 45, like, those guys want to date 20-year-olds. And then people your age, they, for some reason, it's just that, but yeah, the young guys love older women.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like, like, I had relationships over the last couple years, and they were both with people 11 years and 9 years younger than me, respectively. Yeah. Just nice. like I said, I didn't choose the cougar life. The cougar life chose me.
What do you see with that relationships? Like, what's different? Do they treat you differently? Is there something? Because I've dated a couple younger guys too. I want to trade notes with you.
Yeah.
What did they have? What were they like?
So they were both very, very, very different. The one that was like 11 years younger than me, I guess we had more similarities as far as, like, our lifestyle, because he also worked in tech. He worked in the city. He sort of did comedy, but not at the level that, you and I do it. Like, he's not performing at clubs or anything like that. But, we had things to talk about, and, like, intellectually, we also were able to connect on some things too. And he when we weren't doing other things. And yeah. So that was so while we were able to connect on some things, there was also other things that made me think, oh yeah, you're definitely like 26. Like, things like what he had in his refrigerator, for example, or like things that he kept in his room. And I'm just, you know what? I think after this point we should just go to my house. Like, it's just a little, like, it's weird, like, being 38 and then walking out of a person's room and they have, like, 3 other roommates, because everybody in San Francisco has, like, 12 roommates. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, this is like leaving fraternity row, except I am way too old for this shit. So that was that person. The other person, I think we had more things in common because, even though we had an age difference, because we also knew a lot of the same people. We had similar values. He was, I think, predominantly raised by his grandparents, and I'm very close to my parents. So, like, on an adult, like, emotional level, we could actually talk about a lot of things. And, and he also had roommates, but not like 12 of them. So that was that's kind of cool. But then there's also certain things that I'm just like, okay, yeah, you guys are definitely born in the 90s, where, I asked them about, like, 401k plans. There's certain, like, things I'm just like, okay, certain conversations I already know we're not going to be able to have. Like, let alone the fact that they're both also like comics. Like, they're not going to know shit about, like, 401ks or like
yeah, I have no clue.
Death and dismemberment. It's just just like college funds and things like that. So it's been a little weird, but I do like them because they have a good energy that a lot of people maybe my age or like a couple years older
like they
don't
lost
have.
it. Yeah, no, I do feel like that's what I loved about that was it was like the new love. There was like to them it was like everything was so special, and they were like, you know, when you were young, it's just everything's like this could be forever.
It's exciting,
and
right?
It's nice. It's just so pure. Yeah. But then you have to realize, and I'm like, you have to reel it back and be like, this isn't gonna work because you can't,
absolutely.
you know, you can't leave people on.
Like we also had like really, really different lifestyles too. It's like, you know, I've been in tech for besides the comedy shit. Like I've been in tech for my entire like professional career. So like from the time I was 24 to current. So that's like, wow, almost 15 years I've been in tech. So I've been used to like a corporate environment and things like that. And the last person, one of the last people I dated, he delivered pizza for a living. So we had, you know, like two very, very different lifestyles, but we tried to make it work. And yeah, it's just, it was weird because like I can work from pretty much anywhere. You know, I have like my laptop. I'll be like in a coffee shop, and as opposed to working with somebody that's on a very fixed schedule and it's like really like physical. So there's certain things also that they're going to be physically tired when they see you. You know, things that you have to like work around. And I remember like I think a lot of people that age in San Francisco also have that situation because, you know, there's only a handful of us that have like regular corporate day jobs, whereas a lot of other people to supplement comedy, they're working in bars, they're doing all that stuff, which is what I did when I was younger. But I guess now that I'm older, I guess my surroundings and my needs have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to mention sometimes I'd have to explain certain words. I'm just like, I don't want to be one of those people that says when I was your age, because that really makes me feel weird with the age thing. But like, oh
yeah, no, that's what I realized. I mean, I normally would date older men. Yeah. And because I like a man to teach me. Like I want to learn. Like I like that dynamic. I don't know.
They also have nicer things.
True. Very true.
You know what
but
I mean?
I realized I didn't like that dynamic. Like I don't want to teach you.
Yeah, right.
I want to date someone that I have to tell you, like, I don't know. that's just not what I'm doing. But like my boyfriend we're like the same age. So this is like maybe the first time in a long time that I was dating. Well, actually, like I've dated a lot of guys my age recently, but it's nice because we understand, we come from the same place, or we understand what's happening in the world, and you know, very similar views. I think. Yeah. I feel like we should talk about coronavirus since it's so crazy right now.
You know, part of me wants to talk about how much I enjoy being on public transport and not being like squished up against somebody because it's like a ghost town now. And also being Asian, nobody wants to sit next to me. On one hand, I'm like, you know, that's really racist and fucked up. On the other hand, I'm like, well, you know, I've never been able to stretch out on public transportation, so here I am. I mean, are comics in LA also freaking out as much as they are?
Well, it's weird because this is the problem, is that this happened, I feel like hysteria happened overnight. Like everyone, I have friends now that are like, that have normal jobs and have money. Everyone's acting like nothing's happening. Yeah. So no one cares. And I'm like, thinking all of a sudden the way Trump handled the whole situation and being like, oh, we're doing a travel ban, and like freaked everyone out, and everyone all of a sudden now just there's nothing at any grocery store whatsoever. Yeah. So what I do think is now people are just preparing, but we're in Los Angeles where there has never been a natural disaster. We don't know how to deal with that. And, you know, everyone else is like, yeah, tornadoes, and we're used to this. And, like, we're going fucking crazy. I know I am, but this is the thing is, I think it happened so quickly because I was, like, at the Comedy Store, and then the next day it's like, oh, Comedy Store's shut down. Shit. So I don't even think we had these conversations or thinking that this would ever happen. But I just was on a text thread with some of my friends, and I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm getting too crazy about it because I've already stocked and I need to stock some more. Yeah. Because I do think like things are going to close down soon, and I want to make sure I have enough wine stock because I'm getting fucked up in my apartment. I need to be happy if I'm going to be home. Stuck quarantined.
You don't live with your boyfriend?
No.
That's good. Yeah. Oh my God, never. Okay, children never live together ever.
Really?
Just out there, just don't live together.
I have a different opinion about that because I told you I had an ex-boyfriend with a double life for 5 years, and we did not live together, and I did not want to live together till I was married. Yeah. And I regret that because he had a double life. And I was like, so now I'm like, I need to do that. And especially my boyfriend now has crazy OCD that like we have to figure out if that's gonna be okay. Are we gonna be, because I'm messy and I'm,
Are you?
I'm yeah.
I don't know why I totally pegged you for being like a clean, like a neat freak.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, like coronavirus, my theory is that I think a lot of people are freaking out because we are now such a social media run society that's the fastest way for news to get around. And so that's where, whether that's correct or not, like the fact is information is spreading faster than it ever has. Like back when people had like bird flu, SARS, or I don't know, it's just weird to see. I overheard my dad on the phone with somebody, and he was just like, people are like using all this energy freaking out about coronavirus, but then they'll go home and like do drugs and whatever and drink alcohol. And I'm like, yeah, that makes some sense. That is weird to me. It's like a little bit of a disconnect. It's like, for me personally, I guess I just wish they people tackled their concerns about coronavirus in the same way that they should be concerned about AIDS. It's definitely a generational thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, where was this energy when we were all, trying not to get gonorrhea out in these streets?
True. I do want to say I did, in the whole midst of everything, my boyfriend's like, my mom, first of all, is not buying any groceries. She does not give a shit. She doesn't think this is a thing. Yeah. But I'm like, it doesn't matter. You need to supply because you're not going to be able to eat. There's no more groceries. Like, just think about that. Right. So and I work at a bar. So my friend sent me this thing yesterday, and it was like, okay, all the bars in LA are going to close March 13th. Shit. And this and this. So she sent me this thing with a link, and these are the link for all the bars. And I didn't open it. I didn't open the link.
The governor just mandated all bars in California to close.
What time?
Like now.
I just drooled on myself.
Like this just happened.
So I don't have to go to work today, is what you're saying. I'm supposed to work at 5.
Let me pull up the exact article to show you guys. This is from ABC7. Governor Newsom calls for all California seniors to self-isolate and for all bars to close. So anyone over the age of 65 is recommended to self-isolate. Restaurants can remain open, but deep social distancing is going to be enforced. All permitted occupancy needs to be cut in half. Okay, so this is considered as guidance rather than official legal government mandate. There have been 6 deaths in California, so this doesn't have it exactly mapped out when this goes into effect, but it says that all the bars in the state are supposed to be closing, including wineries, nightclubs, breweries.
As of now, I know most nightclubs in Los Angeles are shut down, and
wow.
And most places are like friends that I know that work at places around town, or they're like, oh, we just closed down. So I mean, I work at a hotel, so I don't know if I have no idea, but also no one's coming in, so it doesn't matter. I'm working for minimum wage, but yeah, no, I got this link, and without knowing, because I was like, Mom, you need to buy food. Yeah. Things are closing down. I sent her this link. Never opened it. I didn't realize the link was to this guy. It was a dick pic. The link was the hugest guy's penis I've ever seen in my life. And
you had this why?
And I said, well, so my friend sent it to me. My Betsy Cox comedian.
Who I met.
I know, she told me. But she sent it to me because she was like, oh my gosh, Lorraine, you need to see if your work is on this list. And she didn't, and I realized she'd never opened it, so she thought she was sending it to me. And I was like, Betsy, you just made me send my mom a dick pic. And she was like, no, but my mom thought it was so funny, made her day. I'm like, okay, Mom, calm. You're a little too happy about this dick pic.
Too happy about getting a dick picture.
Hopefully it's the only dick pic she's ever gotten. And, it's from me. Yeah.
Oh, you.
But then this is the thing too, is like, I probably should be researching before I start sending crazy shit to people like, oh my gosh, buy food, we're gonna die. Yeah. But yeah, it's a weird time.
It is. It's just.
But now I thought the stores were gonna get like less and less because people have already stocked, and now I'm not gonna lie, I have to go to the store after this.
toilet paper is the one thing that I'm confused about, because I'm just like, were people just not cleaning their asses before this? Like, why is toilet paper the one thing that people are saying? Ivy,
No, it's just because it's a hoarding mentality. This is how it starts.
Okay.
Because people who are natural preppers, like
Sure.
people who just prep for any sort of thing, they grab the same stuff: toilet paper, canned food, bottled water. Which, by the way, the city of LA has said there's no reason to hoard water. The water system is totally fine.
Yeah.
Even if you were trapped in your house, it's safe to drink the water. It's just that what happens is people who are the preppers grab these things in like massive quantities.
Yeah.
And then the media and Twitter and CNN and everybody else is like, look at all these things people are grabbing. So then everybody freaks out to go get more. And it's sort of a self-perpetuating cycle. But you don't need, honestly, if I know it's gross to think about, but even if you are trapped at home with no toilet paper, you can get by. You just have to wash your ass in the shower after every
I mean, there's trees and leaves, right? Leaves are what you used to
you know, for most of human,
towels.
do you guys know that's why shaking with your right hand is considered polite in some cultures, and
Because
shaking
you
with
Because they use their left hand to wash their ass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking to the mic.
Wait.
if
Oh,
you-
sorry.
It's
Left.
okay.
They use their left hand, like in some cultures.
Back in the day, pre-toilet paper, you would wipe your ass with your left hand.
And that's why people like.
I never thought about what hand I used, but okay.
Well, but like in ancient times,
Ancient times.
you know.
We got to go to ancient times, guys. This
be able
is coronavirus. We're wiping
But-
our hands with our left hand now. Okay.
I'll just share this last thing. I was at Costco on Friday,
Yeah.
and it was a very, like, half the people in there were like, it's fine. And half people were like, they looked like the end of the world was coming. But outside, there was a sign. There was like a person with a giant sign that says, we do not have water. We do not have toilet paper. We do not have paper towels. We do not have disinfectant wipes. Please be aware when you enter. And so they were like trying to like minimize people freaking out.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I do feel that in this time, weirdly, everyone has been really kind to each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe where I'm at the store and I'm around people and everyone's just been like,
I hope it
just been
continues.
nice. No one, I don't know. And even like the Nextdoor app, it's like, if you need anything, like,
Yeah.
you know, for old people and this and this, I feel like it's bringing people together. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Something I've seen is, you know, like people that are just, like, especially in the comedy scene specifically, I've seen people that are just like, hey, if you guys need a place to shower, if you guys need like food or anything, or Venmo, just like, you know, drop
Yeah.
your Venmos and I'll hook it up, because you know, many of the people that that do stand-up comedy in San Francisco, they work like, you know, service jobs or Uber, which are industries that are now suffering because of this. And so we just want to make sure that like our, you know, comedy brothers and sisters are taken care of. And it's been really, really nice to see, considering, you know, this can also be a scene where people are just, you know, they view each other as competition, may not want to help, but like, you know, I think people's good-heartedness is like coming out, and I think that's one positive thing of this whole situation.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love that. And also just the idea of like right now, it's so weird where we have to do this. We have to keep doing stuff constantly and get shit done. And especially in stand-up, you're like, well, we got to go up every single night. We got to go every night. And to be like, oh, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like this is like probably the first time in history for comedians to be like, you cannot go find a mic tonight and go up. And it's like kind of cool in a weird way, where I'm not gonna lie, the last 4 nights I've watched so many movies and watched TV shows, and I've just relaxed and I've slept, and I don't know, and I don't have, currently not making any money, also don't know what's gonna happen, but for something it just feels like, wow, maybe we needed this. We need to like stop and breathe and be like, okay, also what's important, our friends and our family, and I don't know, and just being, are we good? Are we healthy? Is everyone okay? Do we have, I don't know. And that's like the basic of humanity and survival.
Absolutely.
You know, it's interesting that this is happening now. We're about to have an election in a few months. Like, not that I don't want to make your podcast political,
I know.
but
I'm very political. So I
well,
love
my
politics.
thing is like, you know, I was really into Andrew Yang. I know he dropped out, but his whole thing was like, you know, are you familiar with UBI? You know what that is?
No.
So he was talking about how like, what we're happening right now, all these people are out of work temporarily. And in the future, there's a lot of theory that people who are in the labor force are going to be out of work. So UBI is universal basic income, where every American who signs up gets $1,000 a month. And what you think like first, like, oh, we're just going to hand people money. But basically it comes from taxing corporations that have high levels of automated workforce, yada yada, and then that money. So if you get $1,000 a month, right, you can spend that $1,000 on getting your hair done, or going and buying groceries, or going out for a movie, whatever. So it like puts that money back into the economy. So like that, and then mandatory paid sick leave, mandatory health care. Like this is proving that like the system we have now, a little thing goes wrong and it all falls apart. Like we don't have these programs. Now all schools are all closed, right? So anybody with kids can't go to, like literally can't go to work at all.
That's
right?
me.
So you have to be with your kids. Anybody who works in any kind of field, in a hotel, in a restaurant, in a bar, in a performers, we're all fucked. And it's going to keep trickling down, because then when people like us can't make money, we're not spending it on getting our hair done or going to, I keep using that example, I don't know why, but because you ladies have very nice hair. But you get what I'm saying here. It's a domino effect.
No, it's crazy. Ooh.
Like, it's gonna be a hell of a month. Like, you know, I was told not to go back to I can work from home, but I was told not to go back to the office until April, and my kid is on a break, or not break, he's out of school until April, and it's gonna be a long ass month and a half. Like, we were supposed to go travel, and I'm just like, shit, I guess I have nothing to do at night. I gotta go home and just be a mom. Which I'm just like, this is the whole reason I did comedy to begin with, so I could have a break from my family. Just kidding.
I did have, like, someone did say, like, in this moment, you know, in your head, you're like, what do I gotta do? I gotta write a script. I gotta do this, keep working. And someone was like, you know what? It's okay just to not do anything. Like, let's just, but also, you know, do whatever you want to do. But I thought that was nice, because I do feel that pressure. I'm like, I should write a pilot, but, you know, maybe I will. But I'm really just gonna try not to be stressed out. And that's what I'm gonna take away from it right now is I'm gonna read some books.
Do the things, man. Do the things. I remember somebody was asking me, like, Ivy, why aren't you wearing a mask? Like, why aren't you freaking out? I was like, well, first of all, I was a rave kid in the 90s, okay? So, like, I've been everywhere. And I'm not talking about, like, EDC or any of that shit. I mean, not that that's not fun, but I'm talking about, like, raving in, like, we're talking, like, 1995 through 2001. So, I mean, I'm not saying I feel, like, super reckless or that this virus isn't anything, because it's very obviously a threat. On the other hand, it's like when you've put your mouth and face on as many questionable surfaces and or people as I did in my early 20s.
You're immune.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Like, you know,
can survive anything.
I've licked Pop Rocks off strangers. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need a mask on this train. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't even think that's the problem. I think it's just we need to have faster. We need to be, like, preventing with, like, testing and stuff, which is coming. Yeah. So,
and be better about washing your hands. Like, if anybody needs to know how long to wash your hands for, I mean, people say like 20 seconds or the hook and bridge of a thong song. You know, that's always a good thing.
Oh, good. These are the hacks we need.
We do, like, just like little tips and tricks to, you know, keep being clean but not, you know, boring.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up. But
sure.
I mean, that was a pretty great life hack. But if you have any more, or do you want to plug anything, or...
Girl, I don't have shit to plug because everything's canceled. So keep checking my website, ivycordova.com. That's AIVY. My name's weird. CORDOVA.com. I'm also on Instagram. I typically try to be in, like, LA or, you know, the surrounding areas at least once a month for comedy. Yo, I don't suck. Book me. So I'll see everybody in April or May, and hopefully we can all get through this, you know, without having to wear a hazmat suit to our fuck buddy's house. That was a really long tangent.
She's like, I don't got anything. She's like, yeah, I love it. It's amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Just very lovely.
Dude, you're amazing. I'll see you soon, yeah?
Yes. I feel like we definitely need to hang out.
Yes, please.
Betsy and I want to go to San Francisco and do comedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hit us up when you're in LA.
Always.
But thank you guys for listening. Sponsor us, Casa Nova. Domain.
Dude, we need some more of this rosé.
Right,
like,
it's really good.
I don't even drink when I do comedy. This is new.
Oh, really? I'm, like, usually drinking on my podcast. But thank you guys for tuning in. This was Lorraine Lopez Loves, Aivy Cordova.
Thank you guys. Bye.